we're doing the shank, so we have the anterior compartment and we have the posterior compartment, both the superficial and deep parts of it. So on the front, anterior lateral to the tibia, so this is the tibia, this dark spot here, this is the bone. Anterior lateral to that, we have the tibialis anterior, which is this part. You guys can see it. Yeah? Everyone? So lateral to that, we have the EDL, or the extensor digitorum longus, which is this part. And then lateral to that, we have the peronei muscles. We have the longus and the brevis. The longus originates from way up here in the knee. The brevis, you can start to see about mid-shank and down. So if I do a pin in here, it'll be peroneus longus, and if I do it down here, it'll be brevis. But you can see down here where the split happens. So this is still longus, what I'm grabbing. This is longus, and then beneath this longus part here is the brevis. So this is the brevis, peroneus brevis. And depending on your textbook, it might say fibularis longus and fibularis brevis instead of peroneus, but it's the same muscles. So longus, continuing down into this part, and then brevis is here. And that's the anterior and lateral component, and then we have the posterior compartment. So superficially, we have the gastrocnemius, so it'll be cut in all of the cats. So gastrocnemius is this part, this flap, and this. So this is the lateral head of the gastrocnemius, this is the medial head of the gastrocnemius, and it'll be cut mid-shank, so it connects like that. This little piece and this little piece is the plantaris. So on both sides it makes sort of a T. So the vertical component will be the plantaris, and all of this is the gastroc. So gastroc, all this gastroc. This is plantaris. So they're pretty intimately connected, the gastrocnemius and the plantaris. And same thing down here. So all of this flap, which is the horizontal part of this T, is the gastrocnemius, and this is plantaris. And then beneath those two muscles, we have the soleus. And all of those are plantar flexors of the ankle. And then we have the deep muscles. These ones are really tricky. Well, I'm actually only going to test you guys on two because some of them are just way too hard. The two ones that are the easiest to see are this piece. This is the flexor digitorum longus. It's on the posteromedial side of the tibia. So this piece. And then this piece right here is the popliteus. So Neil, I don't know if you guys have gotten this far, but Neil will probably describe this popliteus muscle as its action will unlock the knee and then you can flex it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he did say that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so this is the popliteus. So you can see the directional shift of the fibers. Because I can't really grab it because it's a really shallow muscle. It doesn't have much of a muscle belly to it. But on this part, the extensor digitorum or flexor digitorum longus, you can see that the fibers are kind of running along this way, right? Do you guys see that? And then right here, the popliteus, you can see that they sort of shift to going this way. Do you guys see that? The ones who are in close? I'll do it a couple times, don't worry. So this is the popliteus, and this is the flexor digitorum longus. This part. The other two that are listed in your books are the tibialis posterior and the flexor hallucis longus. But pretty much don't worry about them. But if you really want to see where they are, the tibialis posterior is lateral to the flexor digitorum longus. So more lateral to that on the deep side is the tibialis posterior. So like this is the tibialis posterior, and then lateral to that is the flexor hallucis longus, but you can't even see it. So one way to remember that is that. So you guys know like pollicis for thumb and hallucis for big toe. Yeah. So the flexor hallucis longus, so the toe flexor, originates from the lateral part of the leg. The flexor digitorum longus, so it flexes the digits, so all of your pinky toe and everything else, flexes those. That originates from the medial side, so they crisscross. So the toe flexor, the deep toe flexor, the flexor hallucis longus, is on the lateral side, and it will cross to flex your toe. The flexor digitorum longus, so the ones that will flex these, originates from this side, so they will crisscross. So that's why the flexor digitorum longus is on the medial side. So it'll cross and it'll flex these guys. But the hallucis longus, so his big toe, is actually on the lateral side. And that's the way I always remembered. I just remembered the thick crisscross, and I found that easy to remember. And then, so you guys know tibialis anterior, right? So pretty much behind the tibia is tibialis posterior. But I won't test you guys on it, because it's too tricky to see in most of the cats. So the only deep flexors that I want you guys to know are the flexor digitorum longus, which is on the posterior medial side of the tibia, and the popliteus, which is closer to the knee. And that's it.